Yes, good evening, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen around the world. It is once again time for the WADcast, episode number 53. I am one of your hosts, Josh, joined as always by the cousins from different muffins, Brandon and Kente. What's up, fellas?
What's up?
Hey, what's cracking, lacking?
Oh, it's 10 o'clock on a Friday night on the East Coast, 7 p.m. Eastern, so it must be time for the WADcast. Yes, I missed you guys.
No, I know, and I just spoke with you so much yesterday.
Yeah. Kente doesn't call me every day.
I know, I sucky. Sucky.
I don't have $5.
$5. What kind of hoe you think I am?
You know, Vietnam. Anyway, what's up, everybody? We got a great show for you lined up tonight. At least in my humbled opinion that we do. I don't know. What do we usually do before we get started and everything? Just,
Cocaine.
Talk and stuff? It's
You
been
do
a while.
cocaine.
Like a week. How am I supposed to remember? How am I supposed to remember what happened last week as opposed to this week? It's impossible.
Yeah.
This is the part we can talk about random things first, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Sure. What's up?
Okay. So, all right. So, there's a restaurant out here called Marcello's
Garden.
Pizza. Right?
Oh, okay.
No, it's called Marcello's Pizza, and it's been around since I was a child, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I hadn't called them in a while, so I said, you know what? I haven't had Marcello's
Yes.
in a while, so let me give them a ring. So I called them, and I said, and they said some other name of a place, and I said, oh, this is not Marcello's anymore. And the dude on the phone just goes on a tirade. He's like, no, this ain't them no more. We've had this building for over a year. And I have to say that we got screwed on the deal. They promised us all. I mean, literally, I had it on speakerphone. Somebody else heard this, so they can verify this really happened. And he's like, yeah, we got screwed on the deal. It wasn't what they said it was. And yeah, it was all jacked up when we got here. And I'm like, oh, so what kind of place are you? Oh, we sell Italian food as well. And yes, much better than theirs were. And I said, oh, okay, well, how do I order from you guys? And they were like, oh, unless you're picking it up, you got to order online. I was like, okay. Yeah. And then you got to do it through DoorDash or Postmates. And then I was like, okay. And then he hung up. And then I'm like, wow. I couldn't believe it. I don't know if you've ever had someone be rude to you, and you should be upset, but it was kind of funny, so I mean, he was dead seriously mad that I mentioned were the people that they bought the place from.
Uh-huh.
But yeah. And then I just thought he just literally went into how all of that stuff. It's crazy, huh?
I guess Brandon took offense to what was going on and decided to hightail it.
Apparently, he works for the name of the place is called Taste Aroma. So I guess maybe those were his friends. But yeah, I don't know if you ever had somebody be rude to you, but
All the time.
you should be mad. But you actually, I mean, it was kind of funny. It kind of was comical. How rude.
So pretty much like the guy was like the soup Nazi from Seinfeld, but in this case it was like the pizza Nazi.
Yeah, I mean, like he literally got mad that I mentioned the Marcello's Pizza, and I mean, I didn't ask him to go into details about their land deal and all of that. He just offered it up and then told me if I wanted to order something, you better order it online.
Sounds like it's like he went through a bad breakup.
Yeah, apparently. So yeah, I was like, I wish I had recorded it. It was so. You know what I should? I was talking to a friend of mine. I was saying, you know what I should do is give a bunch of people their numbers, and then have them call in and say, "Hey, is this Marcello's Pizza?" Just
You know what? Listen, Kente, in our personal chat, you can always send me that number. I would love to do that.
I will. I
would
will,
absolutely love that
because it was just so bizarre how upset the guy got. Like the mentioning of Marcello's Pizza, which is a place I grew up going to as a child,
God.
and he was just. It was just like gave him PTSD. It was just funny, man. And
Vietnam South flashbacks and everything.
I couldn't even get mad just because how comical. I mean, he was dead serious. Like he was seriously upset. Like, but it just was so comical to me how upset this guy got. You know, and I was just like, man, wow. Okay, yeah, it was a bad land deal. My bad, dude.
See, the only experience I have from that was okay, like not to bring up like a sob story, but it's not business related. It's actually a personal phone number that changed. In 2010, turns out like those older phones from like 2005, 2006, if you still have the SIM card, you can use that SIM card to upload your contacts if you had the same provider at this point in time in 2010.
Oh, okay.
So I go from this flip phone that I found from like 6 years prior, before like my fiance passed away, all that stuff way back when. And her name was in my contacts because of the SIM card that I loaded my old contacts on. And it was just one of those things where I didn't want to ask for some phone numbers because I was always forgetting phone numbers, and I didn't want to, let people be right that I suck at saving phone numbers. So I'm going through these, and I accidentally call her number, and this guy answers the phone, and he's so pissed off. You got the wrong number. I'm like, what?
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Oh, wow. You want to kill me because of it?
Like, this is Thomas. This is not whoever you're looking for. Like, well, I assume that people probably called that number a few times, like her friends or whoever, because, whatever reason. So, okay. I was like, okay. So then, because of how much of an ass he was on the phone with me, I started calling him one day a week for the next 6 months. Just trying to have a conversation with this guy. Like, I made it my goal. I was going to make a friend of this man. It never happened.
Hilarious. I actually had a situation once where I got a new cell phone number, and this dude, whoever he had a Spanish name. I can't remember what it was. We'll just say Jorge.
God.
This guy must have had every woman in LA, because for like the first 2-3 months, different women were calling up asking for this guy. And I literally, they sounded hot. And then when I would say, oh, he doesn't have this number anymore, I have it. And then it would be like some were in denial. Like, are you playing with me? Like, I'm like, no. And then at a certain point, I was like, look, I may not be him, but hey, what's up?
Oh my God.
But once they realized I wasn't their Jorge, they got upset and hung up. And one woman kept calling back, like hoping, I guess, it would change, that he would eventually answer. But
so Jorge was a man whore.
He sure was, because
God,
it took about 2 to 3 months before women finally stopped calling, since I guess the word got out. So, yeah.
Oh man.
Shout out
this
to you,
is
bro.
This is a guy that probably made the best of Tinder, Plenty of Fish, Facebook dating, like whatever. He probably made the absolute best of it. Had a little black book, or from how you're talking about it, a big black book. And then he got involved with a girl, or his wife might have found out, or whatever the deal was, and just broke it off, changed the number and everything.
Yeah, I bet if you had one of Josh's old numbers, that probably happens. All the women's call in wanting their Josh.
Oh, Josh.
Absolutely, that is what happened.
Yeah. Josh is a ladies' man.
Oh, I know he is.
Yeah, he goes. When he walks in the room, the panties come flying.
See, that's what I appreciate about Josh, because with me, if the money's right, I'm an anyone's man. Ladies, gentlemen, hello.
I wonder who was the first woman to throw their panties on stage. Does that go back to like ancient times, or is that more of a, in the early 1900s or something? Like, I wonder the first artist. Did Beethoven have panties flying at?
No, it's probably Socrates. Like, after he left some of his philosophies, someone threw a toga up there.
Hilarious. I bet at first he was like, "What the fuck? Like, what are you doing?" Then just
and that is where we first came up with like sands to the hourglass. These are the days of our lives. But oh my god.
Oh man.
Oh god.
Does that happen to you, Josh? You ever have women just throw their panties at you?
Or togas?
No, yeah. It used to happen all the time.
Dude, I wonder, do gay guys throw their boxers on stage? Or their boxer briefs? I wonder. I mean, it's Pride Month. We should probably. I wish we had a gay guy. We can ask him.
Oh Jesus!
They've branded enough.
Dude, you wouldn't have to pay me anything to throw my boxers or boxer briefs, rather, up on stage. Even after a long, sweaty night, they would land on somebody.
Would you be like if you were like a musician or something, and you got panties getting thrown at you, and then there's like a set of boxers, and then you look and there's a guy giving you the wink? Would you see that as a compliment? Like, I mean, I'm not into that, but hey, cool.
Listen, I have had men and women comment to me, and like Danielle will even attest to it. We went to a one of the local gay bars here in Long Beach for karaoke, like before the whole pandemic and everything else, way back when. And I was getting approached by people left and right.
Oh wow!
Like, I mean, I had a few guys come up to me, and I walked out of there. My confidence was at an all-time high. I mean, I'm like, I'm pretty. And Video, what's up, buddy? Welcome to the show. Happy Friday to you too, man. Video says no. And he says it's not the same thing. Listen, and I honestly, Video, buddy, love you, dude. I beg to differ. I honestly have to say that if I have a guy tell me that he thinks I'm absolutely gorgeous, or I think my favorite pickup line that I ever was told, it was kind of creepy, but I don't think that I have like much in the line of lips. Like I have like the Eastern European kind of lips going on, like Romanian, not much. This guy tells me I have a beautiful mouth. I'm like, well, thank you, dude. You will never know what it feels like unless you're really rich.
Yeah. Well, here, I got a great pickup line for you guys. So you go, if you're in like a club or a bar or something, you go up to a girl and say, if this is a meat market, you're the prime rib.
Oh my God.
Or here's one Josh would use. He'd go up to a girl and he goes, hey, does this rag smell like chloroform?
But you know what? I would have to sniff it to find out. Like, I mean,
Josh loves it.
I would just grab it and be like, I don't know. I've only been chloroformed one time. Long story. Let me try this real quick.
You know what? As a side note, Josh, have you seen the trailer for Dexter?
I saw the first
teaser. Yeah. And they said that the original cast is not going to be in it except for Michael C. Hall, which sucks.
Makes sense.
I mean, yeah. I mean, half of them died. Most of them died.
I mean, just spoiler alert: his sister.
Yeah, but also the captain. The sister killed the captain. The captain got really close to him. The kid, like the kid is God knows where. The only the mother of his son is dead. The psycho that was a big thing. She's dead. A lot of people died. So it's like with Dexter, it's one of those things where it's really. I mean, plus he's still in hiding too. I don't think he's going to go back to Miami.
His father's not going to be in it either.
Well, he died too, though. Well, I mean, I guess he was still having visions of him, but
Right. So.
Oh man.
So we got to cover it. We got to cover it when they bring it back. So.
I'm all for it.
Making a comeback.
I'm all for. Oh, and the video says he was talking about when Kente said guys throwing their boxes on stage. He said no. Oh man.
Like, hey,
But,
these have streaks in it. What the hell?
it's just chocolate, body chocolate. Oh god, that's so great. Okay, well, either way, welcome to the WADcast, everybody, where we discuss writers, actors, and directors.
Apparently underwear.
And underwear, right? Streak free though. Streak free.
What are we talking about tonight, Brandon? Fella.
We're discussing the do's and don'ts of race swapping or swapping of race, gender, and sexuality in TV and films.
Exactly, Brandon. Weird.
Yeah. I think he's passed out with. Look, what is that? A pizza on his chest?
Yeah, can you guys? There we go. Okay, okay, there we go. For some reason, I actually bumped my cable here. I'm sorry. Yes. So as I was trying to say, I was wondering what I was going to cut off here. So something that goes back decades is race and gender swapping. It's been going on for a long time.
Not going to say anything. I guess we'll wait for him to reconnect. Kente.
Wait, do you hear
you guys
him?
can't.
You don't hear him? Oh, he's joking.
I was gonna say, like, okay, well, I mean, without getting cut off this time, everybody, for the second time. But it's been going on for decades. It's been going on for a long time. People have mixed reactions to it, and it's one of those things where they treat it as what's good for the goose is not good for the gander. It's okay in some circumstances. It doesn't raise an eyebrow. Other times, you might as well think it was the end of the world. And you hear the overused tripe of, "Oh, this is going to kill my childhood or rape my childhood." Let's face it. If your childhood was that bad, if something like swapping the race or gender of a character is going to destroy your childhood must have sucked balls. Like, and not just like, like just big old sweaty, like pus-ridden balls. I mean, it's not that big of a deal in my mind. When it really gets tiresome to me is when you see it done with real people, when real people that were a part of history, when their race is swapped or their genders are swapped, which usually it's race. For example, like Ben Affleck in Argo. Tony Mendez is a real person. He's Hispanic. Ben Affleck's answer to this was, "Well, I'll play the character, but I'll grow my beard out." Oh, thanks, Ben. Like,
right. I'll get my
look really Hispanic there, buddy.
Right.
And but things like that. I forget the Jefferson Thomas. Jeff Thomas. I think the guy's name. Still alive, but he was involved heavily in the rescue mission in 9/11 in New York. In World Trade Center, he was portrayed by a white guy. Now the real guy is black.
Right.
And that no one even batted an eye. Then they're like, "Oh, this is such a realistic depiction of what these guys went through." I'm like, well, yeah, except for the fact that this is a white guy playing a black man.
Right.
Like,
and then also too, the soloist.
Yep.
That's another one too, where it was a Spanish guy, and I think it was Robert Downey. Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely. And then these same people will come back and they'll argue about things like RDJ in Tropic Thunder, which was supposed to be that way to bring light to the issue that this is a very real thing that does happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not to that extent anymore in Hollywood, but it does still happen.
Again, for the record, Robert Downey Jr. did not play a black man in Tropic Thunder.
Yes. Absolutely. It was noted in the movie that he was a white actor taking a role of a black man, and it's brought up by the other black character in that movie, where he says that roles made for black men are being taken and played by people who are not black. And there's like one great example of this is very recently, in a very serious manner, was based off the novel The Human Stain, starring Anthony Hopkins. In that movie, his character is supposed to be a light-skinned black man. Anthony Hopkins is not that.
Not at all.
Sure.
I mean, he played that. And he also played the original Zorro in The Mask of Zorro. He played like the OG guy before Antonio Banderas took over. I don't think he's Hispanic either.
All right. And
like,
he played
still...
Richard Nixon, and he's not American either.
No, he's not American. No. But at least he fits the shade. That's the thing.
That's true.
But I mean, he wasn't even trying to act like a Hispanic man in Zorro. He still went in there with like his British accent or his Scottish accent, whatever the hell it is that he is. He went in there with his European accent, and in no way, shape, or form even was close to being a believer. But no one batted an eye at that in 1996 or 97 when that movie came out.
Like Scarlett Johansson and Jojo Rabbit.
Oh God, her accent. But I mean, yeah, and her accent came and went like heavily.
Was it Emma Watson in what's that Hawaiian movie?
Emma Stone.
Emma Stone. I get the Emmas mixed up. My bad.
Yeah, where she played like a 1/4 Hawaiian, 1/4 Asian, and half white person, I think. But they got the whitest of white people to possibly play that role.
Yeah.
Like they just went full on, like blonde hair, blue-eyed white chick. They're like, oh yeah, she looks like she's got Asian descent in her.
And then the Josh Chitty story, Anthony Anderson's playing Josh in it.
Yeah,
I did.
and there's actually, and see, there's actually a movie based off of one of my favorite graphic novels, 30 Days of Night.
Oh yeah,
Josh Hartnett's character was supposed to be Inuit. That's not what happened. Now, like, and on top of that, like the town, it was like I think like 96% white people in this town of Alaska, which in the novel it was largely an Inuit community. So it's like and that's just like, so that's not just one example in that movie itself. It's multiple, and they left like I think one, maybe two people that actually had that, heritage in them.
right.
So it happens a lot. And then you see people like with the April O'Neil in the new Ninja Turtles cartoon being race swapped with a young black girl. They're like, oh my God, that's horrible. Look at April O'Neil. It's like, well, look at all the other shit, man.
Right. Right.
Like, you can't pick and choose what you're going to be mad at. If you're going to back a horse, you need to be on that horse while you're backing it. You need to really support something. You can't only go half in because that's what suits your desire and your belief at that point in time. Like, when is it okay? When is it not okay? Josh and I had a conversation today, and we had discussed Ghostbusters 2016. Yes, it is a shit movie. Yes, it was very much pandering. Very much. But even with that movie being absolute garbage and just horrible, a horrible attempt at a reimagining of a very successful movie franchise with multiple cartoons, 2 movies, tons of toys, games, everything else, a big pop culture phenomenon that was the original Ghostbusters.
And a great theme song.
Yeah, and a great theme song versus what they remade. Missy Elliott was only a good part of that song, but even then, like that could have been its own little addition to the album. But the thing is that right there does not really fit the bill as to what we're talking about because they didn't really swap the characters' genders around. They didn't swap the races. They just swapped everything else. They made a whole new universe and made the 4 leads women with a male secretary as opposed to vice versa that we saw in the original.
Male secretary is one of the best parts of the movie.
He was the only part of the movie that was even remotely funny.
You're a liar.
I am not lying at all. Everything else I did not understand. No. Kate McKinnon was good. She was good. She was the only saving grace of the entire team, though. But when you have 4 actors that are used to being very much of what's the word I'm looking for, when they're used to improvising, and that's the entire movie, I don't think that they followed an ounce of the script. I think all they followed was like the rough idea of where the story was going, but they were too busy trying to outshine the other person. They were trying too hard to be Bill Murray with the cool one-liners outside of Kate McKinnon. Kate McKinnon was the only one that was actually, acting like anybody. So, but that is our show tonight. We're going to be talking about all these things. Do you guys have any samples that you guys can think of where either a gender or a race in a movie was considered acceptable versus another one where it was considered unacceptable, but it was the exact same kind of situation?
Al Pacino playing Scarface, and then Carlito's Way, where Scarface was Cuban and Carlito was Puerto Rican.
Yep.
And I mean, I love both of those movies, but no one ever said anything about that. And then there was a movie called Summer of Sam, where John Leguizamo, who's Puerto Rican, played an Italian, and people went ape shit about how is he playing an Italian, And I'm sitting there like, did you not see Carlito's Way? Like,
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
So that's a great example.
And that's a fantastic. No, that's actually like I honestly forgot about Summer of Sam. That came out like in the early 2000s, but that is a hell of an example because people praise Al Pacino's work regardless of what he's in, except for Jack and Jill. Everything else, like, I mean, no one wants to ever hear that song Dunkachino ever again. But Josh, what about you?
Well, immediately that springs to mind. There are now 2 versions of Jimmy Olsen that have, done a race swap. One from the CW Supergirl, and of course, the Snyderverse.
But see, the Jimmy Olsen from the Snyderverse wasn't a race swap, though. It was just a different role. It was a different. He posed as a photographer, but he was something else. He wasn't really a race swap.
Wasn't it?
No, it was a white dude. It was just like a really like badass looking white dude versus like the little geek that we saw in all the other movies and TV shows outside of Supergirl.
Okay, then why did I think it was? Okay, we're cutting the show short. I feel like an idiot. Good night.
Snyderverse has turned what do you call it? Jimmy Olsen.
It was earlier today.
I didn't say that Jimmy Olsen was race swapped. I said Jimmy Olsen. What they did was we talked about it, but I didn't say that he was race swapped. I said what they did was they made and we talked about him being turned into like this undercover agent. He had the camera, but he was killed because he was just an undercover agent. Then you made the joke about how Superman couldn't get there in time to save Jimmy Olsen, but he got there in time to save Lois, as he always does. Like, forget Jimmy Olsen. But he didn't know Jimmy Olsen, so Jimmy Olsen wasn't really a friend. He was just like, I guess, a casualty to Superman. He knew what he was getting into.
When it comes to egregious swapping, I think I remember what the case I was trying to make earlier was. When it comes to egregious swapping, the CW Supergirl having a black actor play Jimmy Olsen it's not upsetting to me in the least. I know some people get their panties in a wad because, gasp, he's not, stupid looking little ginger, right? And he's pretty badass dude. But what's egregious to me as far as altering characters is making Jimmy Olsen not Jimmy Olsen. Period.
Yeah.
He could have been a photographer. In fact, he might have been a little more impactful if he was just Daily Planet photojournalist Jimmy Olsen that gets killed on this mission. But no, dude was a spy. That, to me, is egregious. And I believe when you made the question in the group post, in the Movie Addiction group, my answer did involve the line of thinking that altering a character's, motivations and personality is more erroneous and I don't want to say hurtful because these things don't hurt me. Who cares? But it's more disappointing. There we go. More disappointing than something like race or gender or sexuality, because what does Holden say in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back? These are fictional characters.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Now, the biggest example I can give of more recent I guess I don't want to say like infringements, but more recent situations where like my biggest example that I have right now, because when I was preparing everything for the show, when I was doing my research, looking into some of these things, I came to the conclusion of one thing that I never thought of, and I mentioned this right before the show started, was 007. Okay, the new 007, the call sign of 007.
Yeah.
Is going to be given to a black woman. People lost their shit. No, 007 is always a man. It's always James Bond. Like, okay, well, if you guys feel that way, let's look at Judi Dench. Starting with GoldenEye, she became the new M, a role played by two men prior to her, helming that role. That was never a question whatsoever. People actually took that with stride. They're like, oh, this is a great reiteration of this series. Like, the way they did Pierce Brosnan. Let's face it, GoldenEye was a pretty badass movie. Now,
the video game was great too.
Oh, the video game's awesome. I'll play like GoldenEye on 64 all night long if I get a chance. I still have it right now in front of me. Great. But the thing is that people they didn't even bat an eye over Judi Dench, but now, God forbid, the title of 007, not the name James Bond, but the title, it's still very much Daniel Craig is playing James Bond. But to my understanding, if I'm not mistaken, I believe this next movie is going to be him being done with the series. He's tired of playing James Bond. And so they're passing 007 as a passing of the torch kind of deal to this new actress. And people lost their minds. Well, no, you can't have 007 be a woman, or you can't have 007 be a black woman, whatever the deal was. It's always going to be James Bond. That's how they equate 007. Why was it so impactful for that? But it didn't matter when Judi Dench played M. And then when she died in the series, and Ralph, I believe it was Ralph Fiennes, took over her. I don't think he took. Yeah, he took over her what her position was in the company. All these things are okay. Those passings of torches are okay, but the title of 007 for a fictional character, and someone in this post that Josh is talking about said something about how, I think he said if it's something pertaining to James Bond, it's not okay. If it's pertaining to other characters and everything else, it's okay. And I don't see the difference. If you can't be okay with one example and then be like, well, no, I won't support this example. If it's the same thing that's happening, you can't really be that pissed off over one and not pissed off over the other one. You can't support one and you can't not support another one. You have to go all in. Like, that's just how it is. It's how it works. Like, things may happen that you don't like, but it's going to happen. Times change. And a lot of these characters, and someone else said this, and I really loved how they said this. A lot of these characters that were created in a point in time when other people, like when people of color in general, not just the black community, but black, Hispanic, the Asian community, all of them, were not treated with a level of respect, which hasn't changed much these days as it is, but they were not treated with a level of respect in media as they are treated now. So this guy said, like, I say give them their chance to shine. I agree with that. Like, I mean, pass the torch. Let someone else play these roles. If you're pissed off because a straight actor can't play a trans character these days, okay. Why does that bother you then, but it doesn't bother you? It's just acting. Well, where is that mentality when it comes to swapping these roles?
Oh, man, so I can't get that role in your movie, Josh?
I honestly can't say I would cast you as a white person just to see people lose their shit.
Kente and Josh sure shit in the shitty film. That's a good biopic name. Shitty film.
Shitty film.
Chitty bang bang.
And if they ever make one for the WADcast, we can call it Chitty and Junk. Chitty Junk.
I love it. I feel bad because I don't have like a weird last name. Maybe I gotta change it.
Well, Kente's Chitty Junk. And we have a biopic now.
Josh is so over the shitty jokes. He's like, I've been hearing them all life.
But then we go further down the list, and it gets more interesting. Like Luke Skywalker, was originally written to be a woman in the original content before, of course, the rewrites of the script and Mark Hamill was cast. Luke Skywalker's character was going to be a woman, much like how Han Solo was originally going to be an alien. This is how George Lucas originally imagined the series going.
Right.
But Luke Skywalker ended up, of course, being Luke Skywalker, which went on to become this iconic, world-famous character played by the irreplaceable Mark Hamill. But then we have Rey in the new series.
No,
you
got to say it like this, Rey.
Oh God. Oh God. I heard John Boyega shout her name so much in that series. It's like ridiculous. Like, I mean, but it's like the thing is when Rey came to fruition and she became the next New Hope, people lost their shit. Like, guys, there's already like 4 chicks in the entire galaxy in the Star Wars universe.
Right.
Give one of them a freaking lightsaber, for Christ's sake.
Right. Like, besides Princess Leia, who was the other woman in the original trilogy?
Mon Mothma? I forget her name. She was the one that was giving the presentation on the Death Star itself. I mean,
right. That's pretty much it.
And
Josh, did we lose you, Josh?
No, I'm here.
Oh,
and then there was of course Natalie Portman in the reboot, and there were, at that point we found out that there were actually 6 women in the whole galaxy at that point.
Queen Amidala. What was that actress that played her double in it?
Keira
Knightley, right? Yeah.
So then we had the actress that played the shapeshifter in episode 2. But even so, like, people got up in arms when Rey's character became the new face of the latest entry in the saga. Like, yes, it's such a weird saga. And Kente, Josh, you guys spoke about this with that weird shirtless dude on your little podcast 2-3 weeks ago.
Right.
I would love to have him on the show. I was telling Josh I would love to have him on the show just so I can share some, I guess, theories I have about Emperor Palpatine that I don't believe in, just to piss him off. Oh, yeah, well, Emperor Palpatine wasn't really Emperor Palpatine. He wasn't even a clone. He was his twin brother.
Yeah. And Emperor Palpatine, I think it was secretly on the down low.
Yeah, and he was actually, and they were also a product of incest.
Right.
And we have a new Star Wars trilogy.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Okay, so remember, there's Michael B. Jordan in Fantastic Four.
Oh yeah.
Oh, people went ape shit about that.
Oh yeah.
And that was not. You shouldn't even be near the top of the list.
Like,
yeah, but it's like
Victor Von Doom was horrible in that movie.
But the thing is like that movie was a mess in itself. I mean, the depiction of Johnny Storm, we didn't get to see anything about their growth or anything like that. It just cut to a year later with Reed Richards in hiding. But the thing is that even with that though, I remember being in a movie theater when I saw that poster for the first time, and some guy is like, "Oh well, that's not the Human Torch. They're supposed to be brother and sister. How is that going to work?" I'm like, "I don't know, adoption maybe." And lo and behold, guess what happened? Sue Storm was adopted. Easily rectified.
Right.
But let's face it, these are the same people that got pissed off over Pepe Le Pew not being in Space Jam.
Right. And then remember, Jessica Alba was in the original, so
yeah.
And she's not white.
No.
Nope. And they dyed her. They dyed her blonde and everything.
The ones that we're talking about. A lot of words get thrown around and accusations, and sometimes there is a basis for it. When something is clearly pandering to a certain crowd and trying to bring in that audience, which doesn't always necessarily have to be a bad thing. It just means that, guess what? You're not the targeted audience if this is something that you don't find appealing. But what what really confuses me and really makes me scratch my head is when you hear from the same group of people, why don't they just create their own characters?
Oh,
And,
yeah.
I mean, not just, in regards to race, gender, or whatever. I mean, in the case of James Bond, the 007 moniker, and other instances like, Falcon taking over as Captain America, things like that, or to a lesser extent, Miles Morales as Spider-Man. They say create their own characters, but in these particular instances, they're new characters.
Yep.
Taking on a mantle. They're not changing the story of Steve Rogers. They're not changing Peter Parker. These are completely different people. They're not turning James Bond into a black woman. They're just passing along a moniker, a name that stands for something. It's a symbol for something. And when they lose the argument of create your own characters, that the only thing that's left is I still don't like it because they're different than me.
Oh, yeah.
And if that is the case, if someone can create new characters and use them to make a target demographic feel included, make it inclusive, if they can do that and still get the complaints, then the issue isn't the character, it's the person commenting. And I'm not gonna be the one that jump on the if you don't like it you're a racist bandwagon, because I think sometimes that's ridiculous. But you know what? Sometimes it's actually really true. And whether or not this applies to people that may be listening, because honestly, with things we've said in the past on this show, I'd be surprised if they're still sticking around to begin with. But
I blame myself.
hey, no, I'm the first to say, as the person that runs this network, there are certain lines of thought that with people that I'm really find just alienating and being dismissive of, and those include racists.
Yep.
Just hey, if you're a racist, don't listen to us. We're good. It's
Wait a
not
minute,
like you're going
Josh.
to double our income.
Oh, yeah.
Josh, wait a minute. Why do you run this station? Why is a cisgendered white guy from Texas running this show? It should be an Asian woman from Dubai.
Well, if you want to know a funny story, 100% of the employees of Semicore Studios are straight white males.
Oh, real?
I don't think Kent, are like you're?
I'm straight. For
Neither
sure.
of you are employed by me.
Wait a minute. I'm not getting.
I was going to say, isn't this like? I thought this was like a free internship.
No. There's only been one of those, and I was told I'm not legally allowed to call them that anymore.
Well, if you don't try to hook up with them, it's allowed. Okay, you need to stop being a whore.
Don't tell me what to do with my company.
He makes his interns wear blue dresses.
No, Josh has a line with our guests once in a while. I can make you famous.
Yeah.
Just come sit down on the couch and have a conversation, and call me Harvey.
It's Harvey Dent or Harvey.
Harvey W. No, but the thing is, like, so these people actually, they really are very much a self-fulfilling prophecy, though. Like, I mean, with a lot of these people that show this level of, I mean, I'm just going to call it intolerance, because let's face it, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, they're not
these
satisfied
people,
no matter what.
No, they're always going to complain. They're always going to bitch about stuff. They're always going to think that everything's an attack on their precious, whatever the hell it is that they might have.
Culture.
Like, I mean, listen, these characters have not. They may have been created exclusively for you at some point in history, but let's face it, it was not exactly a great point in history that these characters were created. Like, I mean, Christ, Looney Tunes, for God's sake, was started off as a, for the most part, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it started off as a, what's the word I'm looking for?
Massage parlor.
No. It's like when, oh God, it's when you have something to like increase like a government, I guess, cause. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Propaganda?
Propaganda. Looney Tunes was very much propagandic when it first came out. I mean, it's like, Christ, all the Daffy Duck and Porky Pig episodes that had to deal with, like, Hitler and Germany and all that stuff. I mean...
Can I ask you a question? Is it Porky Pig or is it Porky the Pig?
Oh, I have no idea.
Porky Pig.
I don't know him on a first-name basis.
Oh, okay. Just Porky? Oh, okay.
But it's like...
For some reason, I thought he was Porky the Pig, but that's Porky Pig. Okay.
But the thing is, people, honestly, they get so bent out of shape at the very thoughts that they might, I don't know, I don't want to say be replaced, but that these characters that resemble them, like, Josh, as you mentioned, Falcon from Captain America and all that stuff. The thing is the Falcon is always, in the comic books, he took over the mantle of Captain America. In fact, his suit in Falcon and the Winter Soldier was so damn faithful to the suit that we saw in the comic books that people are even commenting about how that they were pissed off that they couldn't get the screen accurate X-Men suits because they just weren't realistic enough, or they're unrealistic. And we got Falcon over there tearing shit up in damn near a comic accurate live action portrayal of that costume and kicking ass in it.
But to be fair, in the 90s and early odds, when the X-Men were really getting off the ground, cinematically, it was the era of leather.
I know.
Thanks to the Matrix.
Yeah, and I'm aware of, like, the little joke that they made in the first one where Wolverine's like, you guys actually go out in these things, and Scott says, like, what would you prefer, yellow spandex? Like, I mean, no, but, like, maybe Kevlar or something like that, or like something that resembles a goddamn suit that he was given at the end of Logan. But the thing is, it's like, so you have these characters, and as you said, like, these same people will go on and say they still don't like the characters, and it is very much really only because they no longer identify with that character. Like, well, listen, you are not supposed to identify with this new character. Other people are supposed to identify with this new character. When Black Panther was first, introduced as being the next member of, the MCU in Civil War, I remember hearing people get pissed off because, like, well, I mean, that's such a dull character. Like, huh?
It's pandering.
Yeah. That's what they're saying. It's like, no, well, no, Black Panther is a staple in the MCU. He's not like one of the most famous characters, but let's face it, when Iron Man was made, Iron Man, Thor, they were not the most famous characters in the MCU. Spider-Man was. They were fighting an uphill battle, and they ended up destroying the competition with their characters that at one point were very famous characters, but in recent years have gone down in popularity quite a bit. And now they're back on top again. They're like, you think MCU, you think Marvel, you think of these characters. And you think of Black Panther, for a long time, people will only think of Chadwick Boseman. And it's like, the thing is like they made a character come to life, portrayed by an actor that was so talented, and they told stories of this entire civilization that, a lot of white people just could not connect with.
I heard Jacksonville is the white Wakanda.
Oh, God. There's nothing Wakanda about Jacksonville whatsoever.
There's no vibranium in Jacksonville?
There's barely... I mean, I love Jacksonville. But I remember I was on a date with a girl years ago, and I used the word excruciating, and she got pissed off because she felt like I was using big words to make her feel stupid.
Yeah, I get that.
I said I had a headache. She was like, "Oh, is that bad?" And I said it's excruciating, and she got offended.
Wow.
There's no Wakanda in Jacksonville. They're actually smart in Wakanda. Now, most of Jacksonville, like in Jacksonville Beach, they are smart people. They're just very laid back. But they're comfortable, so they don't really go too far. If anyone from Jacksonville is listening, I'm sorry, but you know it's true.
Oh, wait. If anybody is in Jacksonville listening, how would they be listening? I heard there's no internet there.
Dial up.
Oh, okay.
But no, it's like, so you made this character, and people got pissed off, and then these same people, after Chadwick Boseman passed away this past year, these same people are talking about how they shouldn't recast him, like they should let that character be like, well, and I get that's like a mixed response there, but I honestly say recast the character. This guy's done too much with the character for it just to be forsaken and put on the bench and have someone else come in. There's still more stories to tell with this character and his interactions with, the group. And I think that Chadwick Boseman, someone like that, like those stories, it deserves more than a character to be, I don't know, like just killed at some point off screen, because eventually that's going to have to be addressed. But people thought that the whole thing was pandering when it really wasn't. Pandering, I look at things again, Ghostbusters 2016, very much pandering. Charlie's Angels. In the recent one with Kristen Stewart and what's her face from all those other Judd Apatow films. No, the blonde chick. And that's another example. She took over the lead role. She took over the role of Bosley, which was at first played by Bill Murray, then played by
Bernie Mac.
Bernie Mac. That's right. That was
characters, by the way.
Well, no, I know they're different characters, but I'm just saying. But then she took over that character. But with her, she was saying that it's great to have a woman playing Bosley. Like, he's been a staple of the whole series since the dawn of the Charlie's Angels. And I'm thinking, like, that tells me how little you know about the series.
Yeah.
The name Bosley, yes, but Bosley was never just one guy. So, and then, I mean, like, honestly, like, look at Ghostbusters and Charlie's Angels. They were two very, 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 very... Ladies, be feminist. Be proud of your femininity. Be proud of being a woman. I will always have your back. Women have some messed up shit that they're going through these days. Still, it is something that needs to be worked on and addressed, much like the treatment of people of other color and things like that. It needs to be addressed. There's still problems in this country. But, and Ghostbusters 2016, I'm largely looking at you. Do not make a property and then do nothing but bash the opposite sex and talk about how the opposite sex are the ones that are toxic.
Right.
Save me from that tripe.
Right.
Charlie's Angels kind of did it, not to the extent that Ghostbusters 2016 did. Ghostbusters 2016 was all that. I said before on the show, 2016, every man in that movie was either dumb, a coward, or an asshole. Every one of them.
Oh wow.
Whereas in the original version, written by also a man, much like the new one was, the opposite sex was treated with much respect. Dana Barrett, played by Sigourney Weaver, was a very strong-willed woman, and she was very much independent. She didn't need help. She liked Peter Venkman eventually. She didn't like him at first, but they eventually show that they did get into a relationship and everything else. But she did that because she chose to, and then she also had the will to leave him when she didn't feel any future with him, which brought us into Ghostbusters 2. And then in that movie, Sigourney Weaver still had the balls to run into a building that had a supreme entity that was trying to steal her child's soul to save her child. And then she even conned his henchman to get closer to Oscar to save him. She knew what she wanted. She had the strength to do what she felt she needed to do. She didn't need anyone to go save her, and she wasn't a coward.
That was in the second one, and she got in a mech suit, right?
An Alien. Well, I'm sorry, Aliens.
No, I thought that was Ghostbuster 2. It was a sequel, right?
No,
I'm kidding.
but it's but then you had Janine in Ghostbusters. played by Annie Potts. She had the balls to stand up to people. She knew what she wanted. She knew what she was worth, but she also knew she was stuck with these idiots. So she stayed where she was. But she was, I mean, she was the one that, like in Ghostbusters 2, she was very strong-willed as well. But she was, she was a sidekick. But then you have the Ghostbusters reboot that was so toxic that every guy, again, you had Chris Hemsworth, who was just stupid. He was hysterical. Every loud sound, he would cover his ears. I mean, like, Chris Hemsworth was comedy gold in that movie. But then you had the mayor who, was just a dismissive asshole. You had the museum owner who was a coward. You had the guy in the beginning of the movie, his employee, who was dumb and a coward.
Worked like a charm. I got business.
Yep. But it's like, and again, these are two examples where you don't swap the characters, but the pandering that comes with it, it's not good. It never works well. It works out well. If you make something because you feel like it needs to be said. That's the point of most films. It's something that the director or the writer really feels that they want to say, something they want to discuss, and so they tell these fantastical stories. All you're saying in like Ghostbusters and Charlie's Angels is that we don't need no man. Like, no one's saying you need a man, darling, but but with Ghostbusters, a large part of your audience is very much a male audience. A large part of what made the Ghostbusters so successful is the fan group, which unfortunately is probably about like 80% men. So you should probably respect the source material a little bit if you're going to do something like that. That way you don't look like a jackass like Paul Feig looks like now. I mean, I won't watch a single one of his movies because of that idiot. Like, I own them. I just won't buy anything to ever support him again. I know how to blacklist people the right way. You blacklist them after you find out that they're douchebags.
All right. Are you at a playground, Josh?
No.
Oh, I hear a bunch of kids in the background.
It's probably me. It's probably on my background. I'm sitting out. I didn't know my microphone was that good. I'm sitting out front, and the next door neighbor kids are playing.
It's a little more awkward that the guy with no kids has all the kids in the background.
I don't have any kids. These are the next door neighbor's kids. I have a retarded dog, and he never speaks.
Really, you gotta bust out the R word.
Okay, I have a mentally challenged animal that runs full speed, fast paced into closed wood doors. If he wants to go outside, face first.
The R word, hilarious.
I'm sorry, guys. If you're going to get offended, I don't mean retarded to make fun of mentally challenged people. I mean to make fun of stupid creatures on the planet altogether. Male, female, man, woman, canine, cat, whatever. A situation.
As long as
I've called myself the word a few times. It's okay.
As long as you're not using the R word to talk about possums.
Listen, it's like Clerks 2, okay? I'm taking it back.
No.
Yeah. All right, Joshua. So, what have we not covered in this episode?
I have no idea where the hell we are, since once again Brandon takes this opportunity to have a platform to crap on the remake of Ghostbusters.
I haven't seen it, but it seemed like it should be crapped on.
Yeah, but see?
Maybe.
I was talking about
doing it.
But I was talking about pandering though.
Pandering. Okay,
Pandering.
There was a point I wanted to make about that. Can we come up with a new term?
Oh, because pandas are offended.
How about catering?
Pandering, has a derogatory kind of connotation to it.
How?
Because it's like literally meaning I'm only doing this because.
Well, yeah.
But there should be not a new term for the blatant cash grab stuff, because that's straight up pandering 101, right?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
More about the stuff that, okay, maybe there is a word for it already. Catering.
Yeah, just said catering, but okay.
I think it's important to differentiate between pandering and catering.
Okay.
Because, like I said, and chime in with some opinions here, so I'm just not trying to find one word after the next. Pandering is that negative feeling of they're only doing this, and I hate to say it like this, but for money, because quite frankly, that's the only reason anybody does anything, right? It's all done for money. That's the end goal of all of these movies and TV shows. Just, we're trying to make money. But I think pandering feels more like stealing money, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah,
I'm going to get this audience just because I do this. Whereas, you look at, I'll use Falcon and Winter Soldier as an example here. They made a TV series for the sole purpose of passing the mantle from Cap to Falcon, even though at the end of Endgame it was kind of done, but Marvel wanted to tell that story of feeling like it was earned, and they told it. But I don't feel like that's pandering to any specific audience as much as catering to those that want to see that story told because of the history of everybody involved, including the original Black Captain America, which they touched on in the series. So while it wasn't a completely necessary thing to do, it was definitely worth it, in my opinion, because it was a story that was worth being told. Whereas, if I'm going to jump on this Brandon bandwagon about hating on the new Ghostbusters, which, by the way, I didn't absolutely loathe.
Oh, my God. Then you are a loss.
What, just
joking.
I didn't think
joking.
something
Go
was
ahead.
the worst thing in the world.
Whatever, sis. Go ahead.
But it didn't feel like a story that needed to be told. So,
yeah.
Pandering, unnecessarily telling a story for the sake of trying to cash in on a certain audience, and catering, trying to tell a story that would definitely benefit being told, especially when it comes to a certain audience. And are these definitions kind of lining up with your guys' way of thinking, or am I just stupid?
Well, no. I would never think they were stupid.
No, Josh, you are not stupid.
Misled since you didn't loathe Ghostbusters, but you're not stupid.
You know what? Hold on. Sidetrack here. You want to know movies I watched last weekend?
Wait. You watched Terms of Endearment, Fried Green Tomatoes.
I actually like Fried Green Tomatoes, but okay.
Still Magnolias.
Jesus Christ, I'm white, but I'm not that white.
The Notebook.
No, I watched Birdemic 2, and Fateful Findings.
Did you watch that with your girls?
No, God no.
Is Birdemic that really, really, really horribly done? Like they're just swinging in the air, and they put some stills of birds with flapping wings on the screen. Mm-hmm. Is that the Birdemic? You actually watched that?
Yeah.
My God.
And the second one was even worse.
I bet you can't wait to watch that with your girls.
I would watch Birdemic with them. Totally. Especially, the parts when the birds dive out of the sky and explode.
Now, did you ever watch Velocipaster?
No.
Because there's a very iconic line, my favorite line in any of those really horrible movies, where this prostitute is supposed to do something for her pimp, and he gets pissed off, and he's like, real quick, why do they call me Frankie Mermaids? And she's like, what? Why do they call me Frankie Mermaid? Like, because you're swimming in bitches? Because I'm swimming in bitches. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I lost it. I'm like, I want to say that to my girlfriend. Hey, babe, what? Call me Frankie Mermaid. Okay, Frankie Mermaid. Why did I do that? It's because I'm swimming in bitches. She hung up on me.
Yeah, I feel like hanging up on you. What?
But
It's funny. There was a guy that I overheard a conversation about a guy talking about he was gonna buy some bitches, and I was like, "Is he ordering prostitutes?" No, he was buying female dogs. Literally.
well, I mean, that's one way you go about it. Like, I mean, it's like, hey, check out my bitch. Like, excuse me? I'm like, my dog.
Yeah.
See, I've got to call my dog Mitch because he is kind of a bitch, but he's also half a man still. So, he's got the log, but he's missing the apples.
I got a appropriation swap.
What's that? Indiana, come on.
In the movie Annabelle,
Okay.
that doll was not really what the doll looked like. It looked like a Raggedy Ann doll, the real doll.
Yep. Yeah, and I was offended by that swap.
Yeah, they made it a little blonde doll instead of the little redhead Raggedy.
But it's funny that you should mention the original was a redhead. There is one, I think in 2016, a remake of an old musical franchise came out. Annie came out, and instead of people lost their minds over this. Like, oh my God, they're just and the whole pandering thing came up. I was like, well, no, I think that this is a reimagining. I look at it as such, and it's from a fresh perspective because it's not like the 1940s anymore, where they all live in an orphanage and it's all a bunch of crusty little white girls like running around. It's like actually, it's Jamie Foxx was even like more charismatic than the original actor was. Like, I mean, they swapped a few things, but what came out was actually, it kind of worked for me.
It's the hard knock life for us.
And I'm thinking, like you guys all sang along to the Jay-Z song. That was a black man that wrote that into his that was okay. But like now we have this, and you don't want to watch it because it's whatever. It's like Tiana. I think that was her name, right? Like the Disney princess from Princess and the Frog.
Yeah.
Okay, that Disney got like bombarded with complaints over that movie. Like, well, why?
Because people are racists.
Oh, I know why.
Oh, I got a good one for you. The Hunger Games.
Mm-hmm.
The little black girl, even though she's black in the book, but people were upset.
The thing is, Katniss, like the interpretation of her was actually supposed to be a person of color in the book.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that part.
No, I'm not saying she was black in the book. What I'm saying is like she wasn't like a blonde-haired like white woman in the book. Like the way that they wrote her into the book was actually it was supposed to be more of a look into separation of classism or racism. It was actually supposed to be more like that in accordance to the books originally, versus what we got in the film.
In the book, she's described as having olive skin.
But still, olive skin is not like a pale blonde hair, blue-eyed white chick.
Well, she wasn't blonde-haired in the movies either.
But the actress herself, though. I mean, like Emma Stone wasn't she wasn't naturally a redhead when she was in Superbad. But Superbad is what got her famous. Like she did the red hair, and that's how she was getting cast in a lot of movies with her red hair, and she's naturally a blonde. But and it goes back to like with her in that movie that Kinte brought up, where she was in the book. She was pretty much she was looking more on the Asian side than the white side. I'm sorry, like us white people, we are considered mutants. We are not the master race that a lot of the racist idiots think that we are. We are more of an anomaly than anything else. We are like the less evolved when it comes, like scientifically proven, when it comes to, what we look like. I mean, it's like, so if like, say Danielle and I were to have a kid.
You are kind of mutant-like.
Huh?
Josh is kind of mutant-like.
This is true.
But I'm just saying, like, so like there's other things, and like the Little Mermaid that just is in the process of being made right now, the new live action version. People lost their shit over Ariel. Well, she's a white chick. I'm like, well, she's a mermaid. Like, why don't you go onto the boat somewhere in the ocean? You bring back a white mermaid. I don't believe that white mermaids exist. Until then, it's the work of fantasy.
You know what? I want to touch on
Splash.
the new Superman real quick.
Okay.
Because for all intents and purposes, what we're supposed to be getting in the future is a black Superman. And
No! Oh, sorry.
I'm gonna wait for the people that haven't heard this news to finish losing their minds. Not just you, Kente, but out there in listener land. You know what? Just pause the show, wait till you're ready to catch up, and I'm gonna keep going. Anyway,
we just had a racist listener blow their brains out. I think we can continue.
Okay, I think it's saved. Yeah. Well, essentially, what it boils down to, from what I've read so far, is that it's not going to be, Calvin Ellis or any of the other variations. What's so funny about that?
Calvin Ellisaur?
What?
You said didn't you say like Calvin okay, I thought you said Calvin Ellisaur. I'm like Vanillasaur. I'm going to use that to describe people I don't like. You Vanillasaur. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I misheard you.
I might start instituting a maximum drinking limit.
I'm not drinking.
Then I might start instituting a minimum.
I'm a blonde. Leave me alone, okay?
But
now get back to your point.
The point is that it seems, from everything I've read, that they're going to go full Clark Kent, Black Superman route.
Oh, okay.
And, this is, right now, rumor speculation. I have no idea what the actual plan is. But I'm going to tell you that I'm okay with this. And there are many, many reasons to explain why I'm okay with this. But I'm only going to mention one movie title, and that is Brightburn.
Okay.
It is essentially a reimagining of Superman as a child.
If he were evil, yeah.
Now, imagine Superman. However they do it, whether he's an alien that lands in Kansas and raised by the Kents. Imagine being a young black alien growing up in Kansas, like racist ass Kansas, and then having the wherewithal to not just absolutely destroy everybody that looks at you wrong.
Okay. Because
your adopted parents raised you right, unlike Snyder's. Excuse me. That's a story that I think could be told well.
Yeah.
And
I can see that.
It's a reimagining that I think actually has merit in the right hands. Now, unfortunately, due to recent WB decisions and movies that have actually been released, I have to say my faith is not in WB right now to have them make the right calls. But I'm not going to, much in the same way that we didn't jump on the hater bandwagon for a certain 2020 movie, I'm not going to do it now until I see something. Now, if there's something that I don't like, as I said in my post before, I'll voice my displeasure. I'll pitch about it on the internet like, all of us do already. But I'm not going to let it ruin a second of my life. It's just something to be disappointed in if it's disappointing. But I'm one of those people that can't be disappointed until I see it. It's really hard to be disappointed in something that is so early in development. I used to have that mentality of, oh my god, that sounds terrible. And then, next thing you know, Heath Ledger's the Joker. I'm like, what? I mean, I love 10 Things I Hate About You. 10 Things I Hate About You is one of my favorite movies, period. at one point in time. I've seen it so many times, and I was like, yeah, I love the dude. Heath Ledger is cool, but the Joker?
Yeah, Brokeback Joker.
And then I saw his performance, and I'm like, you know what? I can't say a damn thing about anybody casting ever again. Because do you know how hard it is to get those little letters CSA on your door?
Yeah, just write them on there.
Do you?
Just write it on there.
It's hard. And you get those letters by doing your job well. And what I've come to learn is that no matter what name is called for whatever role they're being called for, it's not set in stone whether it's good or bad until it's done. And quite frankly, movies are like video games these days. You know, you get updates and edits, and you never seem to get the final cut of anything because things are just always in editing. I know that's a bit of an exaggeration, but there's so many times we've seen a movie come out and they're like, no, that's not the final cut. We'll come out with the final cut eventually, but that's not it. I.e., Snyder Cut. But until I see a performance, until I see something tangible that tells me how someone portrays a character, I can't be an early adopter of the hate, because I've been proven wrong before. I've seen people that should have no business doing a specific role and doing it well just nail it, blow it out of the water. But I've seen actors that I thought would absolutely nail a part and be perfect for it just flounder. So when it comes to casting, and when it comes to especially trying to take over roles, I don't really prejudge. I have to wait for a performance. And then, and only then, will I be able to say, okay, that was a good or bad decision. And there are always exceptions to the rule. But I think we've mentioned a couple of those. And yeah. Somebody want to chime in at some point?
I'm sorry, I was on mute. No, you make great points. I mean, I'm still going to be judgmental because that's what I do, but I understand what you're saying, bro. Like, you know, I laughed too when I heard Heath Ledger was going to play the Joker, and boy, were we all wrong. So a lot of people laughed when Michael Keaton was supposed to be Batman. So,
oh yeah,
Mr. Mom.
Right. So yeah.
Well, I mean, Mr. Mom and Beetlejuice. I mean, those are things that really pissed people off with Michael Keaton when it came time. Like, and they were ready for Bill Murray to come on as Batman to play like the campy ass version. Right. But it's like, yeah, because I believe like Bill Murray was supposed to come on to Batman back when Batman was supposed to be more like the Adam West era of Batman. But like, no, Heath Ledger. When I remember, I found out about him being the Joker back in, I think, 2007 in film school. I was in the library and this came up on the news, and like, this is like early YouTube. And so I saw the first shot of the Joker, and that was, of course, through like a blurred piece of film equipment, like through a blurred piece of glass that, you know, you could see the suits, but then you could also see, like, I guess, what you could make out of as his face. And I was like, no, there's no way he's going to do this. And then, lo and behold, when the movie came out in 2008, I saw this in theaters, and I was just blown away by it. Like, I mean, and then I never thought anyone could be anywhere close to being able to rival Jack Nicholson. And, of course, there are two different iterations of the Joker, but, I mean, damn, Heath. Like, I mean, leave your mark on something so much that now, like, I mean, anyone else who plays Joker, people are just gonna roll their eyes like, oh, this guy.
Yeah.
But because I mean, like, what was it? I think with Joaquin Phoenix when he was supposed to take on the Joker, people were like, oh, no, I don't know. Like, and they saw the makeup at first, and like, he looks horrible. No, this will never work. Did a pretty damn good job once he actually got into the Joker at the end of the movie. Like, he was scary as hell.
Right.
And then, of course, then you had Jared Leto, which I don't know what the hell he was doing, but I guess for a different kind of Joker, I could kind of see it. It feels like more of like a street gangster kind of whatever. But he didn't really strike me as someone that was trying to climb to run the criminal activity in Gotham City itself, the way that Jack Nicholson did. Like, Jack Nicholson was brutal. Heath Ledger was brutal.
Real quick interjection here. I did hear, and I think it might have been debunked at some point, but this theory that Leto's Joker was actually Dick Grayson.
Yeah, because there's something about like I guess gunshots on the armor and scars on Jared Leto's body as the Joker. Someone's like pointing out like a chart saying that he was the original Robin.
The only Robin in this universe.
But I mean, the thing is, like, I would look at that as being tossed out the window because of in the Snyder cut at the very end when you had the Joker and Batman interacting with each other, and he makes that comment, which is very left open to interpretation, with what he says, like an adopted son or something like that. Like, after Batman tells him to be careful with what he's going to say next, and he's like, how many more people are you going to let die in your arms? And I'm like, okay, well, maybe he was Robin. But then Batman's like, it says the whole Harley Quinn thing, like, as she was dying in my arms, like, she made me promise that when I kill you, and make no mistake, I will kill you. Like, maybe he's not Robin. Because that's a lot of hatred. But then, by this point, that's more of a grizzled Batman that's seen the end of the world, I guess. So maybe he will kill him. But it was just one of those deals where I guess it would make kind of sense, but at the same time, it just, let's face it, his Joker, like, I mean, the laugh and everything else, there was so much wrong with it. I don't even want to say wrong. It was his own personal touch on the character. I don't want to say it was wrong, but it was weird.
I would have rather had Tyler Perry play that role.
Oh, God. I'd rather have Tyler Perry leave cinema. Like, Tyler Perry's early work and everything else was great, but I think he's just turned into so much of an egomaniac. I can't take him anymore. Yeah. Diary of an what was it, Angry or Mad Black? I forget what it was, but Diary of a Mad Woman. Okay, Diary of a Mad Black Woman. I thought the play and the movie were both fantastic. I was like, holy hell, this is great. The more recent one where you have like the guy in the background eating air and drinking air in that diner scene, dude, he's just losing his touch to me. And I've seen Madea way too many times now. So
Josh eats air all the time.
Oh, God. But Kinte, do you know what I'm talking about with that, though? Have you seen that?
I saw the videos pointing it out.
Oh, my God. When I saw this movie the first time, like, I mean, I was like, I had to rewind it. I'm like, no. And I go back, like, I would imagine they had to do multiple takes. How was this guy not, like, spoken to?
Yeah.
Like, how could someone as prolific as Tyler Perry not see this?
Yeah, that's crazy.
But either way.
So, Josh, before we get on out of here, my question to you is, what should we leave our audience with? You know, Josh.
What do you
Joshua. There we go.
With?
Yeah, about the topic.
Oh, okay. Kind of a final thought on it?
Yes, Jerry. I'm sorry, Josh.
Okay. Here's my final thought on it. I think for the most part, if you're getting up in arms over
Wow. Hi.
how a character is depicted, a fictional character is depicted in a movie or on a TV show, if that is going to ruin any part of your life, it might be time to re-examine your values. Because throughout history, there have been numerous depictions of different characters, and a lot of them have basically gone through the physical ringer, right?
Yeah.
How many times have we seen characters from Shakespeare's plays reimagined or reinvented?
Right.
Countless. Does anybody get up in arms when, Romeo and Juliet are played by anybody but young teenagers?
Right.
No, I don't think so. Does anybody get upset when you see like ancient Greek plays with remade with women in them? Because of course,
Our British
it's
actors.
all dudes. We didn't even mention, biblical stories where there seems to be a whole lot of white people in the Middle East.
Well, Christian Bale just recently, and I think this past decade, played Moses in Exodus: Gods and Kings.
So yeah, these things are going to happen, and sometimes they're gonna be, kind of created in a situation where your wants and needs are kept in mind. And guess what? Sometimes there are going to be situations where another group of people's wants and needs are, put first. And either way, it's not the end of the world. If you don't like it, well, do what you're supposed to do. Don't support it.
Yeah.
Don't give it money. Show them
It's
that
the
you don't
end
want to be
of
part of it.
I will say this. If you are one of the people, and I doubt that if you're listening to the show, you are one of them, but if by any chance you're listening to the show, you're one of those people that saw a picture circulating Facebook of a white man looking like Ewan McGregor in a robe, and it says, "Share for a blessing," and you believe that it is in fact Jesus and not Obi-Wan Kenobi, you are definitely who we're talking about.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah.
Well, that was very well said.
Anybody else want to throw out some final thoughts before we head out?
No, I pretty much call religious people morons. So, Kente, you're up. I'm sorry, gullible religious people morons. Kente, you're up.
Right,
No,
religious people are gullible morons. Gotcha.
No, just the gullible ones.
No, I just want to say this was a great show, and hopefully we gave some food for thought.
Okay, well, with all of that being said, thank you for listening, everybody. Brandon, ask
Josh.
Kente where we can find him on social media.
Oh, wow. So you're not talking to Kente now. Kente, Josh wants to know where they can find you on social media.
You can get me at Kente F on Twitter, Kente Ferguson on Instagram. Of course, the website is indyradio.org. That's indyradio.org. Announcement, as I said on Wednesday's Mars Venus show, that I am taking a personal hiatus until late July. So you won't see me really on any platform. I have a lot of things going on, and I'll just be working hard, working on an animation project, and just life itself. So, but I will always support you guys, and I just will be, in my bunker, doing
Did
stuff.
Kinte just quit?
No,
I
I
don't
said
know.
I'm going on a hiatus until the end of July.
Let me guess. You're just going to go to the store, get a pack of cigarettes, and never come back.
Until we're grown.
No. I love how you're acting like you didn't know this.
God. Thank God I didn't start calling you Dad, Kinte.
Yeah, hilarious.
Of course,
I hate you.
because I listen to
Oh, man. But, and then if anyone wants to follow me, I don't see why you would.
Asked, Brandon.
You know what? Quiet, woman. Sorry you guys had to witness that. You can find me, bjacksman82 on Instagram. And it's B, the letter B, as in boy or Brandon. Jax, JAXMAN, because I am almost a full-grown man, 82, as in my birth year. And so bjacksman82 on Instagram. You could also find our page for the WADcast on Instagram under instagram.com/the WADcast. Or just go to your app and type in the WADcast in the search menu, and you'll find us. You'll know us because we have that black little circle with a white banner that says the WADcast in it. Same thing for our Facebook page. Type in the WADcast, look up our page, follow us, and it just be nice. My Facebook page is really none of your concern. So I have enough friend requests. I don't need any more. Huh?
Now that it's out of jail.
For now. Now I will be stuck because of my views, and I'll have like a image from like 10 years ago reported again. I'll go back into jail for 30 more days. But it's okay. But yeah, that's where you can find.
It's absolutely true, though. Social media like Facebook, they're silencing particular voices. Mostly the voices of a-holes.
I mean, well, when the CEO is a guy that goes out chucking spears while wearing noise-canceling ear protectors, I mean, I believe that the community standards need some attention. But it's not a-holes because they're going after memes, like little joke pictures that really are not that offensive. But the people who actually have racial slurs all over their pages are the ones that are not landing in jail for some reason. But that's a whole other topic.
You can be a racist a-hole, just not a regular a-hole.
Yeah, listen, this topic is reserved for when they come out with the sequel to Social Media. Or, I'm sorry, Social, whatever the hell it was called with Jesse Eisenberg. Josh, go ahead. Your turn.
Okay. As always, you can find me on Twitter @SkidComic. Or if you want to follow the show on Twitter, by the way, we don't tweet all that much, ever. At WADcast Pod, or you can go to Twitter and follow @Semicore Studios on Twitter, where you'll find out the latest and greatest on the Semicore Studios podcast. Or you can go to Semicore Studios on Facebook and like it there, follow it, and you'll be able to see the live shows here each and every week, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, for the WADcast, the Writers, Actors, Directors podcast, and everything on with the set on between. And with all of that, you can join the conversation if you listen to us on a delayed basis. That's right, a delayed basis where you download the podcast from your favorite podcaster. Make sure that you leave a review and a rating and let the world know what you think about the WADcast, as well as any of the Semicore Studios podcasts that you might be listening to. And if you want to play with me on PlayStation, Skid Comic there as well. In fact, if you find Skid Comic anywhere, it's pretty much me. It's a household name. Anyway, I did have one little bit of news that we never got to, since I never got to talk about the stuff that's going on with me over the week. So anybody want to hear what the news is with me?
Sure.
I got a role in a short film.
Hey.
I'm going to be the
Congrats. Lead. And congratulations.
And that's going to make me a star. Anyway, so yeah, when more of that comes out, I will make sure to let everybody in the WADcast universe know that I am acting more. So, give you a chance to check that out. Make sure you watch The Exchange, which I am also in on. You can catch that on video. with all of that being said, I guess it's time for tonight's message of the week. I'm going to hit the music first so I can play me out. Unfortunately, one of the benefits or downsides of listening to us live, you can join in the conversation in the Facebook chat each and every week, but you won't be able to hear the music in or out. So here we go. All right. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all genders in between, the only thing standing between you and your dream is you. You gotta get up off the couch. You gotta start making it work. You have to do it. You have to start. Not tomorrow. Not next week. You gotta be right now. Maybe you have to get a piece of paper, get a pen, start writing down your ideas, because once it's on paper, then once you get started. You can't take an idea from your head and put it out to the road if you don't take the steps. The first step that you take is just writing it down and do that. And when you start writing your idea down, whether it's for movie, television show, podcast, whatever,